May I now invite questions on the topic? It may be necessary to take some in clusters, but we will decide it as we go along, and we would leave it to the panelists to determine which question or questions they would wish to address. I will observe the 5:15 deadline very strictly. Very strictly. Thank you. First question then, sir. Oh, sorry, no. Pardon me. Forgive me, sir.
May I just chime in? First of all, to thank the panelists for a terrific end to our day in conference, a most inspiring group. But I wanted to make sure that Mr. Leacock didn't misunderstand the interchange between Bertie and me yesterday. This had nothing to do with an advance in international law. It was not a principled position we were taking. It was a tactical one. That is, it's wonderful that Milosevic died in the docket rather than in Nice enjoying his retirement. But the politics surrounding his indictment was, I think, totally different because there was almost universal disapprobation. And as soon as that war was over, we knew he was going to be thrown into The Hague. The politics, it seems to me, in the Sudan are quite different. And our decision, it seems to me it's a myopic decision, or possibly politically myopic, in the sense that it may give a pretext to go back on the accord with the South, which is even more deadly than the war in Darfur. And second of all, it might undermine the fledgling criminal court if the result of the hollow threat turns out to be 15 or 20 African countries pulling out of the fledgling court. So it was certainly not a sort of a principled judgment. It was a political, tactical judgment by a political scientist.
Thank you very much, sir. Next question, sir. Gentleman in blue, yeah.
I want to thank His Excellency for an inspiring address, and simply to ask whether it will be possible to get the text of that message to spread to other people.
I think the answer is that there is some recording going on here, and probably the organizers may well address that in the very near future. Is there a third question? Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I hope you can hear me, because this is Bertie Ramcharan, and we used to attend together the meetings of the Foundation for the Establishment of an International Criminal Court, and I just want to say how inspired I was to hear you today. Now, having said that, as part of the history and the courage of Prime Minister Robinson, as he was at the time, when he became Prime Minister, his friend Robert Wurtzel activated the proposal that Trinidad moved to discuss the International Criminal Court idea in the General Assembly was not well received by the major powers, especially the United States. And so if someone looks at the resolution that was drafted at the time and was adopted, it was deliberately crafted onto this resolution the idea of international criminal jurisdiction with particular regard to drugs and crime. So I just wanted to say that for the historical record. And at the time we used to call you Ray, President. And so Ray, may I say I'm so pleased to listen to you and to listen to what you had to say today. Now, if I may just go to this issue of Darfur. When Professor Weiss spoke yesterday, I deliberately didn't take him on this issue because I had other fires, other chestnuts to fry. I must say that I agree with Mr. Leacock. I, as the High Commissioner for Human Rights, did the first report on human rights in Darfur. I presented it to the Security Council. And some years later, I found myself as a member of an International Commission of Inquiry, not the one you mentioned, a high-level panel. And I was in the borders of Sudan, of Darfur, in Chad there, and with a team. And I found myself thinking, the only thing that could possibly influence this situation is to indict some of these people. And therefore, I want to say, I say this not as a matter of instinct. And Tom, I respectfully disagree with you on this issue. Okay. I respectfully disagree with you. I think that he should come before the bench and he should take his case for justice there. So, Ray, heartiest congratulations, and so good to see you and to listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I understand what you're saying, Professor Weiss, but I respectfully also do not think that that's the correct approach. You're talking tactics, but the question is, if the court, by its nature, is going to think twice before it issues an indictment on the basis that a couple of countries might withdraw from its jurisdiction, I think that's the very reason that the court was set up. You cannot play politics with justice. There can be no peace without justice. And we must be forthright and we must be firm. So far, President Bashir might be able to even use the arrest warrant to galvanize support and to say, well, this is a Western imperialist Christian threat against him. But that is only going to last for so long, if ever he can. The distinction is that we must make the case clear that the warrant is not against Sudan or the people of Sudan, it's against al-Bashir. And as long as even the AU leaders recognize that, President Bashir will be isolated and he will be brought to account. I give you one other example. In the early days of the International Criminal Court, the Article 98 agreements were being signed by many countries with a certain northern power to confer immunity on their nationals. Barbados, a small island state, steadfastly refused to sign an Article 98 agreement, and we saw military assistance cut off to us. That lasted for a number of years. But we've come out of it now. Military assistance has been resumed under the new winds of change, and we're so much the better for it, and we took a principled stand. That is the approach I recommend.
Judge Pollard?
Yes, Rosina, concerning your question, I think that the political profile of states in the ICC could be reduced somewhat. For example, under Article 16 of the statute, the Security Council may defer the investigation or prosecution of an individual for 1 year, and that can be renewed, I suppose, ad infinitum. That could create the impression that we're the permanent members of the Security Council are in accord. They may do what they like in terms of issuing or deferring a prosecution. Secondly, I think that under Article 112B of the statute, the Assembly of States parties can exercise management control over the presidency, the prosecutor, and the registry. These are critical institutions in the court. And I myself am not so happy about this quality of control that states seem to be exercising over the court. As I said before, perceptions of the rule of law require a distribution of the powers of governance. And as far as practicable, these should not be overlapping. But you don't get this impression of an institutionally independent court in the ICC where the states can exercise so much control over the management of the court.
Thank you very much.